Shalom, Akim, Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakorash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth, and a sincere Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. Shalom to you all. All right, so this is a video I got from the brother's channel here. It says GMS, get this work too. All right, very great channel, a lot of great edifying videos. So basically we're just gonna watch this title is self-explanatory. It says Chariot intercepts 2 Iranian missiles. And the crazy thing about this is when I first saw the video of this war that's going on with Iran and Israel, I had noticed something weird about the way the missiles had just stopped. You know, because I was just kind of watching and I saw the Chariot, all right? But at the time, I thought it was a missile. But then upon, further thought, I was like, wait a second. How come that missile just stopped? The other 2 missiles died down and then that missile ran away. That could have been a Chariot. But I didn't think much of it until I saw this video. And, the brother kind of put some text on there to explain it, which I thought was really interesting, man. All right. But yeah, let's definitely go into this scripture. This is Isaiah 31:3. It says, now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. Right. You got Esau with his rudimentary technology, man. Just barely can make rockets go up without blowing up. All right. They got airplanes, they got helicopters, they got these missiles. Okay. Says their horses are flesh and not spirit, man, because the Lord is on a whole nother level, man. The chariots of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai are 4-dimensional, man. They can do things that scientists say would break the laws of physics, right? Things that are not understood by Esau's science. It says, when Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fail together. All right, and that's what we're going to see here in this video. Check this out. There's a chariot, see? Clearly a chariot. There it is again in slow-mo. You see that? So my question to all of you out here, okay, and we're only speaking to the elect, okay, but if anybody else is watching, maybe you heathens are watching, how the fuck is Esau gonna compete with that? How are any of you nations gonna stop that? All right, you know how hard it is to do that? All right, with your modern technology, it can't be done. All right, but with the Lord's technology, he didn't even have to break a sweat, man. Their chariot just kind of waited for those missiles and, did what he had to do and then dipped out and those missiles were deactivated, man. All right, that's the power of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And the Lord is showing his strength, man. All right, I brought out another video where there was this giant red orb, okay, which is another chariot. It's been seen in Florida. It's been seen in Canada. All around the world, man. Okay, so the Lord is visiting the earth. He's showing his power, right? Showing himself strong to the Israelites, to those of us who are going to be saved out of this hellhole, okay, which is going to be the elect. Lord wills I'll be one of them, okay? So let's get some precepts real quick and just kind of talk about it, man. This is 2 Kings 2:11. It says, and it came to pass as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. So this is talking about how Elijah, was taken up. He was translated, all right, via the chariots. Okay, now the chariots of fire and of horses. Okay, and you can see that that's what we saw here, a chariot of fire, man. Because you can see that glow right here. You can see it's on fire. Well, it's not on fire in the traditional sense, but it's glowing. And this is what the prophets saw when they look up. Okay, they saw a glowing orb, the same thing we're seeing here. All right, and the word chariot is just going into vehicles. Okay, so these vehicles of fire, right, for lack of a better word, right, chariot of fire and horses of fire. All right, so the prophets saw these chariots in the scriptures, man. Okay, and there's another scripture that talks about a flying roll. Okay, which we bring that out often. Okay, but this is Wisdom of Solomon 2:21. Such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness has blinded them. Right, and that's what Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is. He's deceived. Okay, he's deceived into thinking that he can stop the return of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, because we know Yahushai is going to come in a gigantic father shit that's going to block out the sun. It's going to be huge. Okay, and Esau shows it in his movies, man. So Esau knows, his scholars done told him what's going to happen, how the Lord is going to return back. He's going to return in a giant spaceship. Okay, and a lot of you people out there in the world that don't understand scripture, you don't understand the precepts that you got to connect in order to understand the deeper things in the Bible. Okay, you're going to laugh, you're going to scoff, you might just go over your head, but this is how the Lord is going to return. All right, and this devil, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is hell-bent on convincing you people that there's aliens in order to what? To convince you, so that when Yahushua returns, all right, that vibration's out there enough to where people think, fighting against Yahushua, that's a good idea. Okay, because Esau said that we need an extraterrestrial threat in order to come together, right? He wants all nations to come together. That's what the NWO is about. You see, the NWO is all about coming together, right? And then part of their mission is they're going to try to stop Yahushua. Right? When they chip everybody up and they get their new world order up and running, that's when Yahushua is going to come. And they're going to try to stop him. They got the Space Force. They got these different fighter jets. They got, these different experimental weapons they're going to try to use. And, of course, all their armies. Because Yahushua is going to show up in the east over there while they're going to war. And Yahushua is going to annihilate all these armies. And Esau knows this is what's written in the scriptures, but he's so wicked. All right, and he has all this technology that he's created that he literally thinks that he can stop Yahushua. All right, let's read it again. Wisdom of Solomon 2:21. Such things that they imagine, or Salakia, such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness has blinded them. All right, that's the problem with you Edomites, man. You're so wicked, you're blind. You can't see what's in front of your face, man. You walk in darkness. And it ain't for you to see the light, all right? It's for our people, Yasharallah. Okay, that's why we make these videos, to wake Yasharallah up, to wake up the elect. This is 2 Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. That's Yahushai. With the thousands of heaven is talking about those chariots. Let's get a precept to that. This is Psalm 68:17. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. Right, so the chariots of the Lord are 20,000, even thousands of angels. So when we go back to 2nd Esdras 13, it says, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. He's talking about the chariots, man. The chariots and the angels who drive the chariots. It says, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Yeah, people are going to shit their pants when they see this. Okay, it's going to be a terrible sight. All right, especially for you heathen. And you heathen's going to be bawling, crying. All right, because you know there's nothing you can do, man. Yahushua is coming to set us up as the rulers of the earth. And all you heathens that's been against us for all this time, there ain't nothing you're going to be able to do about it. This rulership is going to be snatched out of your hands, man. All right, that's a beautiful thing. Verse 4, and whatsoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the earth to subdue the man that came out of the sea, right? The sea is talking about the sky, right? Because the word heaven is talking about the sky as well. And we know that in Genesis, the scripture says the waters beneath and the waters above. Okay, so, above the sky, those are the waters above, right? So that's the sea it's talking about. Right, let's read it again. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Right, so, there was a multitude of men, all right, a whole army from all nations coming together. Like, who said that? Ronald Reagan? Let me see. Alien threat. Who said it? President Ronald Reagan. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. Yeah, he said that in 1987, Ronald Reagan. Right? So that's exactly what's going to happen here. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Right, so they are going to come together against Yahushua. All right, but they're not going to succeed. All right, they coming together in vain to be destroyed. Verse 6, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region of the place where the hill was graven, and I could not. Right, it's just like Independence Day when you see this gigantic fathership. Look at this, man. What a beautiful sight. Okay, it's going to be just like that, man. When Yahushua returns, you're going to have a giant chariot that's going to cover the entire sky. And it's going to be much larger than this, man. It's going to be larger than the earth. It's going to block out the sun. And the sun will not give its light. That's why the scripture says that. The sun will not give its light. Because this chariot, this gigantic fathership that Yahushua is driving in, is going to cover the entire sky. All right? That's that great mountain. But I would have seen the region of the place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. Right? It's so large. Verse 8, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. Right? They're afraid, yet they durst fight. All right? Because their wickedness has blinded them. They literally think they could stop Yahushua. All right? Salakia, let's go back here. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Right, that's a giant laser beam, all right? Fire, sparks, tempest, okay, that's going to be shot out of the chariot, just like right here. You see that laser beam coming down? Okay, but when Yahushua comes back, it's going to be way more spectacular and dramatic. Verse 11, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived but only dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. You see, so Yahushua didn't break a single sweat, all right, and sent out that blast of fire with the flaming breath and the tempest, and turned all the armies of the world to powder, to dust, to smoke. Yeah, it says dust and the smell of smoke. That's all that's going to be left of you armies, man. All right? And that's why we warn you to persuade you. Okay, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, you know, you're steady worshiping Esau when really you should be fearing Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, not Esau. All right? Yeah, we got to move a certain way in this kingdom, but ultimately we fear the Lord. All right, that's why when this devil comes down with great wrath and mandates the MOTB, we're not going to take it. You know, Lord's will. All right? If we be of the elect, then we're not going to take it. This is Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 2. All right, and again, before I read this, I ask you, okay, what the fuck is Esau going to do against that? What the fuck is Esau going to do against these chariots? All right, what are you going to do against it, Esau? What are you going to do? All right, you think your AGI, you think your experimental weapons, your rail guns, your nukes, you think any of that could stop the chariots of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua? All right, these robots, you know, all these different armies and men, you think that that's going to stop the Lord? You got to be out of your fucking mind, man. All right, you Edomites are going down. And call hello Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua for that. The Lord is showing his power on a very low level, man. The Lord didn't even have to do much to get our attention for this, man. All right, those of you that can see, okay? Those of you that ain't just out here watching, you know, sports all day and celebrity gossip, okay? Which nothing wrong with watching some sports, but, you know, yeah, we got to pay attention to what the prophecies, man, because this is very serious. This is what's going on right now, all right, above our heads. All right, the Lord is showing his chariots more and more and more to the point where eventually, okay, that giant fathership is going to come in. And again, what are you going to do about it, Esau? What are you going to do? What are you heathens going to do? What are you 2/3 going to do when you staring Yahushua in the face because you wanted to join Esau's army? What are you going to do, man? When you see a so-called black man just like yourself looking you dead in the eye, and you know you fucked up, man. You see? So, yeah, man, fuck Esau and all his bitch-ass technology, man. That shit is played out. Like we were just talking about, me and the brothers, you know, we were talking about how this place is played the fuck out, man. These jobs are played out. These women are played out. This food is played out. This kingdom, this whole kingdom is played out, man. These apartments are made out of cardboard. Yet I gotta slave away for 12 hours a day just to afford it. Get the fuck out of here, man. This shit is unprofitable. Yahushua is coming back to annihilate this place. That's the only solution for this place, man. And you bunch of gutter rats too, man. Alright? You fucking Edomites. Alright, especially the ones over there pretending to be us. Alright, you're gonna get it too. And what are you gonna do about it, you small hats? You see, you ain't gonna do shit. Alright, this is Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. When you see that giant fathership covering the whole sky, what are you gonna do about it, man? Alright, it says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for. You see, Esau is not expecting a gigantic spaceship to come and save us, all right, from this devil, okay, and from this fucking, this new world order, all right, from this captivity. Right? Esau is not expecting it. And again, Esau can't do anything about it. All Esau's going to do is set up his little armies and let them know, hey, when Yahushua comes, hey, stop fighting each other and fight the aliens. They coming. That's probably what he's going to say. All right? And some of you soldiers are going to know it's Yahushua. All right? They might have a chip implanted in your brain at that point and just make you fly that spaceship into the chariot and destroy yourself. All right, because the prophecies say they were afraid yet durst fight. Who knows, man? So maybe some of those soldiers, they just gonna be forced to fight. Maybe they're gonna hack your airplane and just make you fly into it. And so you're gonna have no choice but to try to fight, because your spaceship is just, or your airplane, or what do they call those fighter jets? Your fighter jet is flying towards the chariot. And you can't go backwards, you can't turn, you can't stop. So you're like, fuck, I guess I might as well shoot. And they're going to try. But what's going to happen? We already read it, man. All right, Yahushua is going to just obliterate y'all, man. All right, all of Esau's army. All right. And when y'all see the Lord's salvation, the salvation of the elect, okay, you're going to be troubled with terrible, terrible fear, man. You're going to realize that you were wrong about us all this time, man. Thinking you're so much better than us. All that fucking pride you got. And you're going to realize that we're the saints and not you. But yeah, Yasharallah, that's who's coming to save us, man. Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai is far superior to Esau, man. Look at this technology, man. It's incredible. Okay, to be able to, easily disable 2 missiles and then just fly away like nothing happened. All right? So stay up, Yasharallah. Keep the faith. Keep believing. We're almost out of here. Look up, because our salvation draweth nigh. So with that, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakurash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth, and a sincere shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom wa abad babal. Shalom.